you so much for tuning into this week's weekly Forex forecast. So last week we had a wonderful time in the market, right? What we saw was that what we predicted on Sunday last week, right? It is exactly what we predicted that took place, right? And I know many persons that actually followed through with these analysis. They made a lot of money. No, my lovely people, do not take these analysis for granted, right? These analysis is only for the betterment of your trading career. My lovely people, as you see, we are doing this every single week, so you all can take advantage even if you are a beginner in forex trading, right? What we drop here, the little nuggets that we drop here each week can benefit you tremendously. So my lovely people, as we go through our weekly forecast every single week, please take advantage. Now, before we get into this week's video, you know, we have to do our quick disclaimer.
Let me put it in a language you can understand.
Today's video is for educational purposes only. All views are my opinion and are not intended as investment advice. Forex is a high reward, high risk business, and you should not trade with borrowed money or money you cannot afford to lose. Any investments made in light of these ideas and opinions are committed at your own risk. Okay, my lovely people, let us get into the show. Now, as usual, you know, we need to ensure that we examine the DXY, because as I said before, our DXY, it is the economic health indicator for the US dollar. So we need to ensure that we consult our DXY before we try to make any future decisions. Now let's go down to our 4-hour chart so we can actually see what's going on. Now last week, what we said last week that the DXY could only make 2 moves, and based on the decision that the DXY would make, we will know what to do next. And as you can clearly see, what we said last week was that the DXY would actually break below, right, and then plummet to the downside, and that is exactly what we saw taking place with the DXY. So my lovely people, what we do here every single week with our analysis, this is not a joke thing, this is not a pure thing, okay?
You're talking to the original frontier goatee Dan Gargan. I am Dan Gargan.
This is serious business. So my lovely people, please take advantage. Now, in regards to our currency pairs, right, if we take a look at the EURUSD, now as I said, people, last week was definitely a wonderful week in the market, and as you can clearly see right here with the EURUSD, what we said last week in regards to the breakout that should take place right here, that is exactly what we got, and the market definitely went up. Now, as we saw the market going up, right, we realized that the market was basically struggling to make higher highs. Hence, we had to take some profits. And of course, my lovely people, we also caught the sell on the EURUSD. And as you know, this is my favorite pair. So any direction the EURUSD go, I will catch that move. So if you want to consult in regards to EURUSD, what's going to come next, I can give you that analysis and I can guarantee you that it will be correct. Now let's take a look at the gold. Now my lovely people, let me show you what we did with gold this week. And you know what's amazing is that take a look at the lot size that I used on gold last week, and take a look at the
right now. What me I do? Counting cash, fat stash, counting cash. Counting cash.
As you can see, my lovely people, gold definitely was a monster for last week, and we made a good amount of profits. Now let's take a look at the GBPJPY. Now last week, my lovely people, if you can recall, I was saying that my bias for the GBPJPY was to the upside. Only way we would actually take a trade to the downside is if the GBPJPY had broken below this level of structure, right? And I was saying to even my persons on my team, I was saying that, hey, you know, right now I think GBPJPY is going to be making a long-term move to the upside. So if you're actually in the buy from down here where we saw the two bottoms, then you could definitely just adjust your stop loss and just keep that trade running. So my lovely people, if you are in the GBPJPY right now, all you need to do is to use a trailing stop loss, and that's it. That's it, people, because right now the bias for this pair is to the upside, right? We will see what will take place next week, right? And depending on what the asset decides to do, then, you know, it will determine if our bias will change. But in the meantime, my lovely people, just adjust your stop loss to, if you want, break even, right, or even above break even. Okay, my lovely people. Now let's take a look at the US oil. With the US oil, we stated last week that the US oil, we would see some movements to the downside in regards to this asset. And the reason why we did say that is because right now the US oil is basically approaching, or is basically sitting close to a very strong zone in the market. You know, we might end up seeing the asset pushing to the downside. So we have to be very careful in trading this asset for even this week coming up. Okay, people, so please pay attention to what the oil is about to do. Okay, now let's take a look at the USD-CAD. We stated that the USD-CAD was basically in a corrective phase here, and it's just trying to make an impulsive move. Now right now I would say that the USD-CAD has not actually made a move as yet, because right now the USD-CAD is basically in the same position as where it was last week. So it is yet to actually make either a push down, right, or maybe even a push up. Right? So my lovely people, please ensure that you take notes. Please ensure that you take advantage of these weekly Forex forecasts, because what happens, guys, is that you taking advantage of these analysis will make you a better trader, right? And this is free. You know, this is free. So my lovely people, all you have to do is to ensure that you like, you comment, and most importantly, you subscribe and you turn on your bell notification, so as soon as I release a weekly Forex forecast, you will be notified, right? And if you have friends who are in the Forex game, tell them to come on over, because guess what? We have the sauce. Okay, we know what's going to happen next in the Forex market. Oh my lovely people, I just want to thank you all so much for coming out last week for our program, the initiative that we started in regards to a talk with DrFXJA, right? The theme that we are working with is young but conscious, right? And last week we had two amazing guests, right? We had Sean Stultz and we had Rohan Roberts, and it was indeed a wonderful evening. Now this week we are going to be having also a wonderful time once again. Now for this week, my lovely people, we are going to be having Crystal Witter. And also we are going to be having Javi FX. So we are going to be having two guests for this week's program, Young but Conscious. People, you do not want to miss this one, right? So we're going to be having Crystal Witter and Javi FX. So my lovely people, as you continue to watch and support, please ensure that you share with your friends and your families, so we all can be blessed, we all can have a good time, and we all can be empowered. Now until next time, have a wonderful week ahead. Bless you.